apparently Xbox is going to go third party. The consoles are done, y'all. It's over. Pack it up. Xbox lost the console war. It's over, baby. Full third party. Never again. Holy moly. I don't understand how PlayStation fanboys constantly say the dumbest things every single time. And it's almost like they don't even realize that their own platform that they love and crave so much is also a third-party publisher. But we're not going to get into that right now. No. No. Look, the thing is this. There was an interview with the CFO of Xbox, and some things were said, and everybody is clinging on to one specific paragraph, which is honestly exactly what you expect off of Twitter. Instead of reading the entire actual answer that the CFO gave during that actual conference, and then realizing he was actually talking about Activision Blizzard games. The Wet Dwagon says, alert emoji. Xbox wants to go third-party confirmed. Xbox Chief Financial Officer says their mission is to bring Xbox first-party and subscription services to every screen, including PlayStation and Nintendo.
For us, it's about expanding our platform reach, and we think important games like Starfield will be catalysts for Game Pass growth on a lot of different platforms. But anytime you're growing the platform, there's always this trade-off with games. We are not a third-party publisher, right? We do something different with our content like Starfield, but not all the content. Obviously, Minecraft ships on other platforms, and we enjoy doing that as well.
Red Dragon, you're another one. I don't understand how everything you have to tweet about has to be in some sort of negative connotation for Xbox. Xvault Gaming says Xbox CFO. That means smart TVs. That means mobile devices. That means what we would have thought as competition in the past, like PlayStation and Nintendo. Third party looking ever more likely.
Twitter is the best place to go to see people say the dumbest things possible.
That's true.
Here we go. The actual Wish version of Kane from Command & Conquer, the crack-headed version of The Big Show, and the koala that escaped the actual breeding capacity ground is now on Twitter once again. Congratulations. Here we are. Thank you very much for seeing your stupidity all over my timeline again. So, the CFO of Microsoft, Tim Stewart, also said this when they bought Bethesda. Microsoft wants future Bethesda games to be first or best on Xbox, says the CFO, meaning he wanted them to be the first on Xbox or the best on Xbox, meaning that he didn't think exclusives were going to be happening on the Xbox brand from Bethesda. With lo and behold, what happened? Starfield is only on the Xbox and PC. Oh my God, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna take everything the CFO says by word. Well, not even reading everything the guy said. He was talking about Activision Blizzard games.
All right, everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and today we're gonna go over your next dose of the salty batch files. And just like the opener showing here, we're going to go over some before and after situations, because a lot of folks have been coming over my way saying, when did they say this that was wrong? Show me when they were wrong. Show me this, that, and the other. So I figured, you know what? We got the receipts. We got the goods. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. All right, so like I was saying, what we're going to do is get right to all these examples, the before and afters, or the afters and befores, really, in regards to a lot of these content creators and shills and frauds and grifters in regards to what they say. So just like the opener again with Alex being a dumbass like he is, considering himself to be consistently right most of the time, he does hit the nail on the head from time to time, but there's a lot of instances like the one we just shown where he's a complete dumbass, an idiot, and that's just the way it is, and he's a fraud, shill, grifter, X, insert X, whatever you want to do. That's just what he is. He can't beat the allegations. It is what it is. He has Astro clipping for him 24/7. He has his other little sheep running around doing his little bidding and stuff like that, and he just can't beat the allegations, so I figured, let's open with that. Let's have some fun. One of the best receipts under Alex right there. So as we continue here, let's go over some current stuff here, right? The whole debacle of PlayStation being third-party enough to give their single-player first-party games over to the Xbox console ecosystem, right? So as you can see here, this is of course from Double Barrel Gaming, Boomstick, and etc. As you can see, Xbox lunch break speech in there in regards to full third-party releasing games on Xbox, all in caps, showcasing that he's very sure of this happening once again, because again, that Broken Compass eventually was right about Helldivers 2, 8 games as a service game, eventually landing on the Xbox consoles, coming again this August 26th. But he's very sure of this, right? And it's okay. It's okay, and this is what he wants to do. This is the way of the future, stuff like that. Well, previous to that as well, it's only a matter of time. You got to do the Photoshop mock-up of course, Spider-Man, Insomniac's 2018 Spider-Man, all in green with the green glowing eyes, the white emblem up there, showcasing what Spider-Man would look like in a perfect world on the Xbox consoles to pay homage to the Xbox ecosystem itself. And then as you can see right below there too, a stall is also adding into this, a photoshopped version of Spider-Man 2018, putting in the XS optimized for Series XS, being optimized. None of those systems are going to do better than the Pro, so I love how it would be optimized, and then of course followed by the GIF of soon. So this is just what they're salivating at, hoping, praying, breathing, going to bed every night, saying their prayers, hoping for this to happen, even though, you know, you could just go up and grab a console that has these games on there, or play this on the PC that supposedly all of them already have. But if it went to Xbox, that's going to change everything for the outcome of the brand and them not being full third party. Apparently this would change everything into a 180 situation where everything and all their worst nightmares would not come true like they already have. So, as we continue here, of course, boom. Well, where's this one from, guys? Not too long ago, right? Or was it a long time ago? Did we say beforehand, right? More reasons PlayStation has decided to bring their games to Xbox. SIE needs to recoup the $1 billion in losses. Mind you, this is not counting the $3.6 billion for Bungie. Shout out to JP Tells You for the original post. So, if you were unaware, very unaware, JP is another grifter. He's been trying different outlets. He reminds me of the same of some past ones whose names have already eluded me. You know who I'm talking about. Somebody that was pushing an Xbox shill that was pushing for Final Fantasy to eventually arrive on the Xbox consoles, and he was just hardcore doing stuff, doing the interviews and stuff. His name has already eluded me. So if you know or remember, put in the comments down below for memory's sake. However, they're using this photoshopped version of Forbes Entertainment stating Sony will lose a combined $1.2 billion due to the Concord Marathon game cancellations, where Marathon has not even been considered canceled yet at this point in time, at least. The PlayStation brand is yet to be profitable since the launch of the PS5 due to poor decision making. Now this looks like something straight out of Goat Gaming's mouth, right? This came out to be really easily debunked. This was a photoshopped version. There was no search history, no backtracking, no information whatsoever anywhere in regards to this being true, or that Forbes published this in any way, shape, or form. So they got egg on their face and they just continue rolling with it. So he had to delete this. He ended up deleting it down the line. JP still kept it up, of course, and was severely community noted. The last I checked, it was still up. But they just continue on. They don't care. And then they end up gaining those followers and stuff like that still, because the sheep want to hear what they want to hear in their minds, regardless of the reality of the situation. So it's very interesting, the fact that they latch on just because he went super hard shill for the Xbox community. Boomstick himself just latched on and grabbed this, and he wasn't the only one that did this. Multiple shills grabbed that article, shared it, preached it as gospel, etc. Now, if that wasn't pathetic enough, here, let's take a quick look at a Boomstick video from the past here. Here you go.
Are you glad that Phil Spencer kind of just, put it out there and calm some Xbox community fears of them going third party, but more importantly, closing down the narrative that was running rampant, which by the way, by the gaming media, when the community does this, Umbra, you're like, well, X, content creator, he does this for engagement.
Par for the course. Right?
Yeah, it's par for the course. But when the gaming media does it, it's almost embarrassing. And well, they all say you can't spell ignorant without IGN. They were one of the first ones to run an article. And again, that's par for the course. But I'm glad that Phil shot it down.
Yeah, no, I'm glad too. It was just another Hooven plot. I mean, it's what I
hooligans once again.
Once again, they strike again. It is what it is. They have a plan, and they always try to take down Xbox with something. It is like when I saw it, I didn't really feed into the whole thing because I knew it was stupid. I knew it wasn't real. The whole debate about it was manufactured, so it didn't really like when I saw him say that, it was just a reiteration of what he had already said. Really, I mean, people took it and ran with Stewart's words. And like, oh, the CFO said this. Yeah, he answers to Phil though.
Yeah, he does.
Phil dictates what's going to happen there, not him. And Phil has already assured us that's not what their aim is.
So as you can see there, the proof is in the pudding with that video as far as what we're going over, what they've said. And of course, it just depends on the day of the week if IGN is an ally to the Xbox community or if they're a nemesis, so to speak. It just depends on what side of the coin you're landing on for the day, what kind of information you're sharing, and etc. Right? But that video really speaks for itself. Just wanted to share that there. So as we have tons of other examples here, we need to keep this rolling here. Going over to the catfish, Andrea Piccinini, aka Joseph Cruz, aka rebranded Ascension. They share this here, as you can see, rumor with Xbox and then Spider-Man. This is the one they're clamoring for, nothing else. They want the whole slate, but this is the main one that they're hoping for. Now that they got Helldivers 2, they now want Spider-Man. I don't blame them. I would. I mean, that's why I have a PlayStation myself, but however, they have a rumor sharing that, right? That's what they want to go with. What did they say before, guys? Let's see some examples here. As you can see, I am consistent. I made peace with the fact that there are games I won't play unless I buy another console. I don't condemn Xbox for doing the same thing. I think it wouldn't be fair if PlayStation players can play Xbox games while we Xbox players are left with less. Just a couple years ago, right? A few years ago. A little bit later on. How convenient for you to play more games, including Xbox games on your non-Xbox console while Xbox players get less. I don't care if Microsoft makes more money. I'm buying their console and I expect fair treatment. As we continue to go on, keep all existing exclusives exclusive. Keep all future big, new, and existing IPs exclusive. Keep Bethesda and Activision single-player games exclusive. Bring Activision games to Game Pass. Believe in the console brand you have built. My oh my, that has changed, and not only with Extension. I do want to throw General MLD into the hat because whenever he comes out of hiding, comes in, says something stupid, and now it's all about that publisher war, but not long ago. And when I say not long ago, when I say just a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, this is how it was. If you change your mind in that quick of a case, right, that quick of a scenario, that means you never believed in anything you said. That means you are a fraud, a shill, a grifter, a corporate bootlicker. That's what happens. If you change and flip-flop 24/7, how anybody believes a word you're saying is beyond me. But again, the sheep are a big driving factor of this. Instead of dealing with reality, they like to deal in delusion and dream escapades and whatever else you want to throw in there. It's really bad to see, but these are the receipts. Do you see how they were wrong on so many levels? Do you see the flip-flopping on so many levels as well? That's just where we're at. But let's keep going. Like I said, lots of examples here. So, as we come over, this is kind of the beginning of everything, right? This is what we shared in a previous video. Insomniac Games just stating, hey, how are you with the peace sign? We got photo mode. We got Spider-Man there. Nothing else to it. No alluding, nothing. The Chaos Lounge, gentlemen. So Spider-Man 2018 coming to Xbox? The poor begging continues. That's what they're wanting. That's what they're needing. Why do they need this? Well, not too long after that, what are they doing? Making videos. Full slate. And there it is, the full slate from the Chaos Lounge. Over 7K subs because people want to hear false narratives. People want to hear false information. Hopium, copium, this is what they want to hear. They think the whole slate, so they don't even line up from that. Spider-Man 2018, they're throwing in Miles Morales, Ratchet & Clank, Days Gone, The Last of Us, God of War. As you can see. Do we see where we're going with this here? They're just hoping for something because, well, as we continue on here, he states, later on, right? Well, not too much later on. This is before, beginning of the year, right? Xbox as a brand is done. I've said all along, if the 3 pillars of any of them go, they will lose a lot for the sake of a few dimes. The brand confirmed now is Game Pass. Right? So he made sense with that. This is why he wants that whole slate. This is what he's crossing his fingers for, because if Xbox as an ecosystem goes down, or even goes down that path, or they failed, they want their competition to fail. They don't care about Nintendo failing or succeeding. They care about the direct competitor, which is PlayStation. They want them to fail. Why you would want people in the gaming atmosphere, especially where they prompt up gaming? This is what I don't understand. You have PlayStation as just a great pillar in the gaming community, creating these great games. That's why they have them on there, right? Spider-Man through Ratchet and Clank, through God of War, Days Gone, Last of Us. These are amazing games. Why you want someone to go down that path and just straight up fail and not provide quality is beyond me. But again, it's because they want someone to suffer. They lost. They want people to suffer. They want the competition to suffer. They want the fans of PlayStation to suffer and to go through that whole moniker as well. But you know what? We're not done with Chaos Lounge. Let's show a video here. Take a look at this one.
The talk about Xbox going third party, the talk about Xbox going 2027, I think that's now laid to rest, right? All this talk about Xbox going third party, and, you know, we had a number of creators, which, you know, I've got my receipts. I've got them. They will be coming in another video. It's going to be very fun to sit back and just laugh at these people for about 5, 10, 20 minutes. There is no such plans. There is no such endeavors. Starfield and Indiana Jones is not in development for PS5.
Yikes. I'm pretty sure that one ain't aging too well, right? Well, we're not done there. How did he react also to the Indiana Jones debacle there as far as it being announced for the PlayStation 5? Well, let's take a look at that as well.
But you're probably wondering when the game comes out, right? Well,
December the 9th. No PlayStation!
there you have it. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is
Bitches!
coming out this December for Xbox, Game Pass, and PC.
Man, stings, doesn't it? Stings, doesn't it? Not to put salt on the wound, but I mean, they do it to themselves, right? They do it to themselves. But the videos, again, speaking for themselves there. Just wanted to share those with you. The receipts are glorious, and more content to go over here. So let's keep this train rolling here. So as we continue on, it's been a minute since I've actually had to show Cucktinga here, but here he is, right? Look at this whole collab here, this collage, if you will. For Tinga on third-party status after Xbox full multi-plat pivot. As he shows here, back in December of 23, I'm so glad Sony and Microsoft are going third-party. The end of the console wars is near. He continues, I already considered Sony and Microsoft third-party publishers a while ago, and then they came to PC. When they came to PC, right? Laughing emoji. It's hilarious how hard ponies were celebrating yesterday, only to wake up to the news that Sony is full-blown third-party. Okay, we continue on. Sony is third-party. Do we see a narrative here? He's very upset about a lot of things here. LOL, there's nothing they can do about it. Sony is officially a third-party publisher. Just harping on it, right? Just harping on it. What did he say before the multi-plat pivot, though? Let's share that. Xbox going third-party are rumors I've heard for over 12 years. Why do I have to treat it like news every single day? And then, of course, here's Jose. He's responding to that, right? He's right. You and Thick Stick Boy have been up in arms for Xbox lately, especially since both of y'all are PC Master Race, right? So, again, very hard in Xbox not being third-party, all right? Their stuff was available on PC at that time. Didn't really consider them third-party and third-party rumors. As we continue, Microsoft keeping Activision multi-plat got this dude thinking Xbox is going third-party. LOL. Talking about Porterrock's response here, right? I wonder as Microsoft continues to release Activision Blizzard games on PlayStation and notice the huge sales disparity, PlayStation having higher sales than Xbox, would that make them consider to put all their games on PlayStation due to games selling better than their own console? Very much in arms about it, right? Like you said, Microsoft keeping Activision multi-plat got this dude thinking Xbox is going full third party. To me, this was common sense. P-Rock spoke those words. A lot of others spoke those words. They didn't think it was happening. Then he continues, the last one, Xbox is definitely not going third party based on these leaks. Quite the opposite. I don't know who Cucktenga has for insiders. I don't know what information he has, but he is wrong a lot of the time. And that was before the multi-platform pivots. All right? After that pivot, what did we pivot? Fraud, shill, and grift for? PlayStation's third party now, guys. Laugh, laugh, laugh. PlayStation's third party. You heard it here first kind of situation. It's just, you see the narratives changing all the time. Do you not see the frauding, the shifting around of the narrative, the grifting? I mean, it's super obvious. I mean, Cucktenga, I mean, he takes L's on daily. He has a very large follower base, good for him. As far as that, because the sheep, I mean, they come in droves, right? They come in droves, and everybody just, it's just so bizarre to me to sit there and act like PlayStation's like, they're horrible people. They're horrible people. It's all about the grift. That's why. Ultimately, it's about the games. If we're all putting that stuff behind us and you want to play a great game, you're going to play a great game regardless of where you're going to play that great game. That's just the way it is. They do this. They shifted that pivot for a personal gain. If you believe anything that these dipsticks are saying, that's on you. And well, you're going to find out at the end of the pot of gold there that it's not really a pot of gold. It's a pot of shit. So that's all you're going to get there. But let's continue on to our last example. Of course, we can't end something without a Cuck Eastwood either. Colt Eatswood, whatever you want to call him at this point in time. But let's share some examples here. We got something here. PlayStation 2025. It's just 4 games. David stating it's just 4 games. It still haunts Xbox, right? And it does. So, Colt Eastwood thinking with Helldivers 2 being a game, I don't know where the 4 games comes out. I get the narrative of, hey, if it's 1 game, it can be more kind of situation. Don't get me wrong. However, let's continue. Colt Eastwood stating, join us in a couple of hours for XNC podcast. It's going to be a controversial one, and we might have a special guest drop by. PlayStation games on Xbox. So, of course, now we're showing Returnal, Horizon, Spider-Man Remastered, because Spider-Man, again, the front runner, the biggest selling IP across all media, whether it's comics, video games, movies, it is always up there. It's one of the highest up there, one of the most popular Marvel IPs out there. So when everybody downplayed, anytime they downplayed, especially these Xbox fanboys and shills and grifters, whenever they downplayed the Spider-Man video games from Insomniac especially, they were hurting inside. They wanted it on their ecosystem. They wanted it on their preferred platform. They didn't get it. It's always hurt them to the core. So, in case you didn't know, you know. As we continue on, you hate to see the Hooven ones proven wrong as usual, right? Xbox isn't going third party. Phil Spencer. He's quoting Phil Spencer saying that, the used car salesman. You think he would have known by now, but nah, he likes to run with it, right? So again, as we can see here, we'll go off the BRAP one because the other one's kind of cut off, but just listen to the audio of Xbox CFO discussing how they want Xbox first-party games on any screen that can access gaming. He also includes Nintendo and PlayStation as destinations for first-party content. Xbox is going third-party. When the Xbox CFO says they're working on getting Xbox first-party games on PlayStation and Nintendo, it only makes sense to invest in PC, PlayStation, or Nintendo. That's on top of the fact that Xbox has released basically no major must-have AAA first-party games this gen. Not incorrect, right? And obviously we know where we're at with everything, right? So, gotta love it, gotta love it. So here we have another video from him, Plague Tale Requiem, new biggest exclusives on Xbox in 2022, and new leaked reveals on Xbox Series X and S. Right? Right? So, exclusives matter. I know I've covered this in videos in the past, but here's more receipts, right? Exclusives mattered not that long ago, but now they had to pivot, they had to shift the narrative, they had to move the goalpost, they had to change the grift, and they had to make it seem okay, and now the new grift is PlayStation games are coming to Xbox. We're still waiting to see if that's happening other than games as a service, or maybe the Horizon Lego game or something like that. We're waiting to see what happens, right? We'll have to wait and see. More on that in another video. However, as we continue here, right, he has another one. The port begging has never been more desperate. I don't blame them with this roadmap, and half the games aren't even announced yet. Oh, the good old roadmap. It does seem like yesterday. It kind of was just yesterday, it seems, in regards to them touting the roadmap. PlayStation didn't have a stronger or larger roadmap, but Xbox did, and that's where it's at. And Xbox and or Xbot people saying that the ponies are begging and asking for these Xbox games to arrive on their PlayStations. No, and I will tell you, and this is just me personally, just a side note, I did buy Sea of Thieves right away when it was available on PlayStation. I did buy Grounded right away when it was on PlayStation because I was like, those are the two games I found interesting enough, but not enough for me to go out and buy a separate console, right? I'm like, yeah, if it ever did, if it ever did come over to PlayStation, I'll check it out. I did, very disappointed in both of those IPs. I know there's big fans of those IPs, but for me, I was like, yikes. I'm not even buying another Xbox first-party game unless I'm super bored or my backlog I don't want to get to or whatever the case is. If I feel like jumping in, I'd probably jump into a Halo. I even canceled my Gears of War pre-order because I was like, I do remember the multiplayer on this not being that great, and I don't want to just run through the campaign again real quick. I did play Gears of War in the past. It wasn't like amazing, that's another reason why I never kind of also kept going with the Xbox consoles. It just never jived with me, that's why. But if I wanted to play those games, if they really were that good to me personally, I would have kept playing on Xbox additionally, but I didn't. There was just no reason for me. Their first party games just never slapped like PlayStation's did for me. Again, everybody's different. Everybody has different tastes. That's totally fine. But again, so I'm just using that example as I wasn't ever begging for any game to come over to PlayStation. If it happened to happen, fantastic. If I happen to get around to the game that is an Xbox first-party game, fantastic. But nothing I'm clamoring for or asking for. I promise you that. And I know I'm not alone in that sentiment. Again, otherwise those Xbox consoles would have sold. And been selling for those games, because what sells platforms and ecosystems? Games. Those games weren't drawing enough of the crowd. That's just the way it is. But as we continue here, what I want to do is end this with one more video. This is the nail on the head for Colt Eastwood. You gotta love the shift and pivot here, right? Take a look.
Holding exclusivity has always been a PlayStation flex of dominance, and now Xbox has shown that dominance, superiority, and high ground with the most studios, holding the cards for the world's biggest games. And right now, PlayStation is completely threatened, and it looks like Xbox this generation is calling the shots.
Starfield will be exclusive to Xbox. What about Elder Scrolls 6? This is a massive fantasy RPG, even bigger than Avowed and Fable 4, but is it too big to only remain on the Xbox platform? No, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be available only on the Xbox ecosystem, and the same will be true for Fallout 5. Doom and Wolfenstein, arguably the most prolific and flagship shooters in video gaming history, will from now on only be on the Xbox platform and ecosystem. These games are absolute giants in the industry and will secure the Xbox as the place for first-person shooters with Halo, Doom, and Wolfenstein. Future sequels for those titles will be exclusive to the Xbox.
Xbox stands to lose $1 billion by not selling Call of Duty on PlayStation. They can make it up by growing Game Pass subscribers in a $3 billion a year residual revenue stream, while also selling the game outright each year on Xbox consoles and PC.
All right. So that's a goodie there. We definitely do see a shift in tone and how the future is supposed to be shaped here and stuff like that. But it just speaks for itself. I can't state it enough, right? I don't need to divulge into the video any further than that. I just think it's a good one to end on. But again, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've seen the current to, before claims and receipts and stuff like that. But again, this is just really a nail on the head type of situation where they're constantly shifting, right? Shifting that narrative, changing that goalpost. They just can't speak the truth of anything. And then at the end of the day, they want PlayStation to do the same thing. I never wanted Xbox to go this route. This has been on record multiple times. I believe in major competition, and the fact that Xbox did go this route, I dislike it, because competition breeds success. I've said this over and over and over again. It's unfortunate, and that does leave room for PlayStation to do all sorts of things, right? Rather than compete, you're going to have different types of situations occur. And I think it's another taint on the gaming ecosystem when you have less competition out there. Nintendo's doing its own thing. They're thriving with their corner of the market, their exclusive stuff like that. But, PlayStation and Xbox were synonymous with how they were controlling the market, how they were attacking the market, how they were trying to sell to the consumers to invest in their ecosystems. And now that there's going to be more or less of that due to Xbox's shift and pivoting, because they had to, due to Game Pass stagnating, due to their hardware not selling. And again, question marks in the air for this new supposed rumored hybrid console for Xbox. I mean, there's just so many things up in the air, and the less competition there is, it's not a good thing, folks. Nobody wanted that. The real gamers did not want that. And for the other gamers and the Xbox shifters of the goalposts, the Xbox shills, and the frauds and all that stuff that want PlayStation to do the same thing and follow suit, is not a good thing for consumers either. It really isn't. And we can go over that till we're blue in the face, because some people still don't understand the potency of exclusives and why they matter. But that'll be another video for another time yet again. If you want to talk about exclusives, check out, it's been a few months ago, find that video, Why Exclusives Matter. It's a great video. I explain that. I might have to make another newer version of that just to kind of show where we're at in the landscape of things. But that being said, we will wrap up the video. Thank you all for your support, sticking around to the end. Every like and comment down below helps out the algorithm. Would love to hear from you as well. If you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing, helping out a small content creator like myself. Let's move over to that 4,000 sub goal. If you want to hear the truth and someone not BSing around with you, stick around, follow along, and we're going to continue to have fun and show the truth and the facts. So, at the end of the day, just remember, folks, don't be a salty batch, and we'll see you next time on the next Xvault gaming video. And until then, take care.